not an art guy, so I don't look, it's a painting. You know? Like the Mona Lisa don't do that for me, man. First of all, it's a dude, so it's a dude. I mean, what are we talking about? Am I wrong?
No, you talking about the Mona Lisa?
Is the Mona Lisa and it a dude?
No.
The Mona Lisa is a dude. John, am I tripping? I'm tripping. No, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome back to Off the Bench, the final episode. Hey, y'all, I just want to let y'all know we shutting down the podcast, man. Things ain't been going good. And you know, John, he actually left. So I'm actually doing the podcast by myself. Nah, I'm just kidding, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Bench. Of course, I'm DeMarcus. And as you can see on your screen, I have a special guest with me. It's one of my closest friends to me, one of my, biggest rivalries when it comes to sports talk in general. It's my man, Timmy D. Timmy D, talk to the people, man. Let them know who you are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Like I said, it's your boy, Timmy D. You can follow me at Timmy D Sports on Instagram, LinkedIn, Timothy Detman. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I think they don't know, but you know what I'm saying, I'm one of those Rams that we when it comes down to sports, you know what I'm saying, talking with Mr. DeMarcus over here. So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be some fun, it's gonna be some laughter. Just know that I always bring it. So we're gonna enjoy this one. We're gonna enjoy this one. Last episode of season 3.
This gonna be, to let everybody know. Once again, of course, thank each and every one of you for following us as long as you have. And like Tim just said, follow us on all of our social medias, which are always listed down below. And make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to all of our platforms. Follow us here on Facebook too as well. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those classic episodes because this is gonna be, I feel like, for season 3 to end on this episode, it's gonna be epic because it's gonna be a great debate because we got some good football. We're gonna talk about in NFL and college. Of course, we're gonna get into college basketball, and of course, we're gonna get into the NBA to kind of wrap everything up for today's episode. So yeah, like he just said, y'all stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one today. But let's go ahead and get right into it, Tim.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's start with college football.
Okay.
All right, so what I want to discuss first is we know we just came out of the Heisman recipient Jaden Daniels. I apologize for that. Jaden Daniels from LSU winning the Heisman. So talk to me, Tim. What do you think about that? Do you think that was the right pick, or did you disagree with that pick?
Well deserved. Yeah. I mean, if you just look at his stats and the way he's played the game overall, LSU didn't have the season they expected they were going to have, especially not getting into the playoffs, which I feel like we're going to get deep into that in a little bit in a second. But overall, his play was magnificent. I think he was reaching like 4,000 or 5,000 yards. So I mean,
I'll run down the stats with you real quick, just so the people that don't know, they know why this man won the Heisman. All right, so completion percentage, he was 72% completion percentage, 3,800 yards total, 40 tutties, and 4 interceptions. And then let's get to the rushing. He had 1,100 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. So he contributed to 50 touchdowns with only 4 turnovers, as a player. So, I mean, yes, they didn't have the best season, but that ain't had nothing to do with his production that he put on that field. He definitely was the best college player in college today.
And I want to say they lost their best receiver to FSU. So he was doing that with, I don't want to say they were just bad receivers, but they weren't top of the line. They weren't in any of the discussion for any of the receiver awards. So just to do all of that and then take it into your own hands and run it for 1,100 yards and 10 tutties is amazing. Yeah. I mean, all the other quarterbacks weren't even like close, man. I guess the Penix and what's name? Yeah, they weren't even So it was right.
I want to say Bo Nix. I think yardage wise and TDs wise, he was close to him. But other than that, like total production, and he had a QBR rating of 95.7, so not basically 96% QBR for the year. I mean, you can't deny, man. Just going down some of his games. I mean, he put up 346 against FSU, 269 passing against Grambling, 361 against Mississippi State, Arkansas 320, Mississippi 414, Missouri 259, Auburn 325. So he was, I mean, and throwing the ball all over the field, like you say, with a bunch of guys that are unknown to anybody else in the world.
And you got to circle that FSU game because it's not like the FSU defense was slacker. Like that was one of the major reasons why they have this argument that they had this argument now about the whole playoffs because of the FSU defense.
Yeah,
especially their their DBs were like ranked like one. So it's like to be able to throw 300 plus against that defense. I mean, people will say first game, but still, like even in that instance, nah. So yeah, it was
like you said, because even though it is the first game, it's still against a top 5, coming into the season defense. And then you look at what they did for the rest of the season, and they did against other quarterbacks that were pretty good. They didn't make them look good. So
at all.
That's what I'm saying with him and against everybody play against, the Alabamas, the Auburn's, the Missouris, the Florida, Texas A&M. I mean, you looking at games where he threw, against Texas A&M, four touchdowns with no interceptions.
Easy.
67% completion percentage. So when you look at every game he played in, no, you won't get to see him play on the next, grand stage, which is the playoffs. But you got to watch it for 12 games, just dominate college, man, and do it, like you say, with less than the other guys that was, running up against him. He did it with less talent. So you got to commend him on that. And I think, I agree with you 1,000%, well deserved. I didn't think anybody else was worthy of that. I mean, other people had, shining moments, but to do it consistently for the whole year, there was nobody better than Jayden Daniels. So I think
who I really wanted to win.
And I know he committed to NFL draft too, after the last game.
You know who I really wanted to win?
Who?
Marvin Harrison Jr. Just because, when the last time you seen somebody other than the quarterback win it? For him to be a finalist, I'm okay with. But I want it.
But that's tough though, because
him to win it, man.
The problem is, man, I don't take nothing. John has heard me say this quite a bit, and everybody that watch the podcast quite a bit has heard me say this. I love Ohio State, but at the same time, I despise Ohio State because they don't play anybody. So, Marvin Harrison, he's a great wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be phenomenal. His dad was phenomenal in the NFL. He's going to follow suit. But, I mean, the numbers are against nobodies. And then, like I say, when they finally play somebody, it's not the same look. So, I get what you're saying about him being a finalist. That was, great to have a wide receiver in it because normally it's like a running back, quarterback, or something like that, or some defensive player that's in the talks for Heisman. So it was nice to see another offensive position in there. But I mean, I knew he had no chance of winning, man. Because like I said, Daniels was just so far ahead of everybody with his play this year. I mean, I just didn't see nobody else even coming close to winning it.
And I think I want to say the last person who won it outside of a quarterback was DeVonta Smith from Alabama.
Yeah, from Alabama. Yep. Yep. So speaking of, we're talking about Heisman. Let me ask you, Tim, out of the last, let me pull it up real quick. Out of the last probably 8 Heisman winners, how many of them were transfers? I'm gonna go. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna rephrase the question. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 7. Out of the last 7 Heisman winners, how many of them were transfers?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's tough because the way that this transfer portal, this new stuff, and the way they move around. I know for a fact that Bo Nix. No, I think he just entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, he did this past year when he left Auburn to come to Oregon.
Well, I know Caleb Williams was one because he transferred from University of Oklahoma. Joe Burrow was one because he transferred from Ohio State.
I believe so. It was Ohio State to LSU. Yep.
Yeah. Kyler Murray wasn't. Baker wasn't. And Lamar Jackson wasn't.
Okay.
I don't know about DeVonta Smith.
Okay. And so I'll give you the rundown. So Baker Mayfield, he transferred.
He did.
From Texas Tech to Oklahoma. He transferred from Texas Tech to Oklahoma in 2017.
Yep.
Kyler Murray. You Kyler Murray the following year transferred.
From where?
And he won it. Kyler Murray came from, I believe, it was in North Carolina State. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick so we get that right.
I thought he was there, but he said he was a junior.
College career.
Baker Mayfield came from Texas Tech.
Yep. Baker Mayfield came from Texas Tech. Let's see. Yeah, he came and then he went to Oklahoma, of course. Let's see. I'll get John to pull it up here in a second, but I can't remember exactly what college it was. But then you got Joe Burrow, of course, like you said, and then you got Caleb Williams, and then Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels transferred to LSU. So, and I brought it up to say this, that that, like you just said, the transfer portal, it shows how it's been a good thing for college football, because you've been allowed now, because guys have been able to control their own path when it comes to college by going to the school that better fits their style of play, better fits them with playing time. Then you get to see how it transfers into, a Heisman winner, or even like, top draft pick or whatever it is. Cause you got Bryce Young on there, 1 and 22-1, number 1 pick. Devontae Smith, top 20 in 2020, he won it, wide receiver. So you got to see, with those 7 transfers, do they ever become Heisman winners if they never transfer or had the ability to transfer? So that's why I think that's another example how the transfer portal has been good for college football in the last 7-8 years now.
What would you say? All right, and I found it. Kyler Murray went to A&M. He was there right before Oklahoma.
Texas A&M, that's what it was. Yep.
But I will say the portals also have done like bad things, and I'm gonna put this reason why. TCU last year, team full of transfers. You know what I'm saying? Yep. They go to the playoffs, but we all know the TCU deserve to be in the playoffs. We can look at TCU and be like, all right, y'all not it, to be honest. But we got to put you in there. You're a Big 12 team, undefeated team, Big 12 undefeated team.
Won your conference. Yep.
Won your conference, you know what I'm saying? So we got to put you in there and then just get dog walked by Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They don't beat Ohio State if Marvin Harrison doesn't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's
I agree with that. Yeah, what was his ankle? I believe he sprained his ankle that game. If you don't sprain his ankle, 100% Ohio State wins that game.
Yeah, they don't win that game. So, but then you have, you know what I'm saying, the rise and fall of Colorado last year, because they win 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Rather they should have won those games or not, but all that whole team was transfer portal. So it's just like
over 70 transfers this past season. Yep.
Yeah, so you get them in there, you know what I'm saying, but they're not working together. So transfer portal, and I think it's really because of the NIL, but we can dive deep into another that can go into this whole little wormhole by itself, because people coach for Nebraska, I forgot his name. He was just the coach for Carolina Panthers. He just came out and said like the going price for a quarterback in college is $2 million. So you know what I'm saying. So if your school is not being able to pay that, you know what I'm saying, you're not getting a high end quarterback, and the high end quarterback is going for that. You know what I'm saying. These wide receivers, these running backs, they trying to get paid.
The defensive players, defensive linemen, it's definitely I can say that, like you just said, that everything, when it comes to the access of something else, is going to have a defect of it too. And I think one of the defects, like you're saying, is that it has made it harder for, the smaller schools to be able to have a chance at these type of athletes, or even the bigger schools saying now, I've heard stories of, players come out and say, hey man, to even talk to me, you got to give me $5 million to talk to me. Yeah. So it's kind of turned college football upside down a little bit with the negotiations of transferring, and, who's going to be able to give me more money than actually give me a better position to display my talent and playing, more games than just the regular season, and also be able to play in the NFL and be a high pick or first round pick. It's definitely kind of made that whole operation tougher now. But we all know, before the transfer portal and before NIL deals, players were getting paid to come to schools anyway. We all know that.
For sure.
That's not nothing that wasn't understood, with boosters and other things, incentives. They might have called it incentivized reasons to come to my school, but it's gifts, it's other stuff, it's cars, it's, plane rides, whatever it is. Players been getting this, but I think now players now they have the power and they have control over where they go. Now it's frowned upon now, but that's one of those things where it's like I said, I'm for the NIL deals. I'm for all of that.
And I think the only real reason why it's frowned upon is because the coaches don't have no power over it. Like they can't control it. Like they said, like that coach from Nebraska, and I can't think of his name, and it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna look it up in a second. But he was pretty much saying like the coaches can't say anything to the players about that NIL money because if they do, they can get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. It's the player. The players.
His name Matt Rhule. You're talking about Matt Rhule.
Matt Rhule. Here it is.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He said it's like it's worse than the NFL because I mean at least in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? Like we know these players are gonna get paid, right? So but you have these high end players coming in, and then the people who really want to be in Nebraska or really want to be at these schools, like you starting to hear like Lincoln Riley talking about, listen, we only gonna take the people who want to come to USC. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to come to USC, we're not taking you. I don't care how much money you know what I'm saying? So like
that's what it's turning into, yeah.
They got to do something. They got to get the power back in their hands, or you know what I'm saying. This is going to turn it's going to turn even crazier than what it is now.
So, do you think now with the conferences kind of, with the Pac-12 kind of going away, and now more teams are joining the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10, Big 12? Do you see, and now it being more of a true gauntlet style play than not you got to play everybody in your conference? There's no more, East and West and all this breaking it up. It's like, hey, your schedule is your schedule. How you come out after those 12 games, that's going to decide your fate when it comes to playoffs, especially with going into the 12 team bracket next year. Do you see that, that power? Do you see that more teams losing this season, or do you see some teams actually trying to get that power back now?
So that's a tough question. I think, I mean, I always think that the teams are going to try to get that power back because Nick Saban has been losing, right? So, you know what I'm saying? He's been one of the main people who's complaining about this whole NIL and transfer portal stuff. So I think they're going to figure out a way to be able to gain that power back. Either the NCAA is going to have to come up with new rules to see like, hey, the teams could offer these kids money instead of them going out and get NIL deals, or you know what I'm saying? I think making the players actually workers like the NFL does, right? So that every player is getting a set amount of money or whatnot, and then like the NIL deals is coming from like all the extra stuff like who, but I think once they can get control of that, they'll be good. When it comes down to like these big 5 power conferences and things of that nature, you still gonna have the SEC is still gonna run everything, especially with like Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. So you get 2 more.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
You get two more prominent schools, pretty much the 2 schools in the Big 12 that was holding the Big 12 up on their backs. Now they're going to the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you bring UCF over, you bring Colorado over. I think they have a couple more that Arizona, I believe, came over to the Big 12.
Arizona,
So yeah, you get those, but they're not Texas, they're not Oklahoma. You lose; those are 2 big schools that you lose into the SEC. Now the SEC is just more powerful than the fall of the Pac-12. Whereas
combined, they're truly now the most powerful conference in college football.
There's nothing that nobody could do about it. Like. People will say, "Hey, I'm not going to go to the SEC because I could still go to Oklahoma, or I could still go to Texas."
You know I can still go to Texas Tech. I can go to these places. I can go to the Pac-12, and I might not play the big games every week like they do in the SEC, but I'm still going to be able to showcase myself and be able to have an opportunity to play. But now it's like you said, if you're not going to the SEC, where you're going to go? Because now the best of the best is there now. And then what's left over is going to be in the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. And then, like I said, there's no Pac-12. So that's why I say it's going to turn into the pool's going to get even smaller now. And, you know, those bigger name schools that's in the SEC, they're going to have first dibs on a lot of these players. And just to kind of piggyback off what you were just saying, like Dabo Swinney, he came out for Clemson and said that, you know, you got to start worrying about tampering now. You know, because that's a conversation too that people not really looking at. What about the tampering side of all this? Because now all this money that's being moved for players and for players to even have, you know, a conversation now, there's money that's being put up front. And then on the backside, okay, how much money can I make from your school going to school versus how, you know, what opportunities would I have to be able to be, you know, showcase myself and then help the team win first. It's more of a selfish gain now, which is more like NFL than actual college football. So I think that's where, like you say, once these ADs and all the college teams that are going to be, you know, trying to get these top players, they got to really look at that and be careful with, hey man, yeah, we're going to be throwing a lot of money, but we don't want to be paying for championships. We want actually people that want to come here and be a part of the history first and, you know, continue this illustrious history. And then, okay, this is what we can provide with you for compensation.
But, you know, it's like, there's one thing that I do like about it is because if we think about this nature, we had like 5 stars going to Vanderbilt, right? You know what I'm saying? Vanderbilt is everybody in the SEC's homecoming game. You know what I'm saying? These players can't get into Alabama. They can't get into LSU. They can't get into Florida. So they're going to Vanderbilt. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they're still going to play Alabama. So I get to show out against Alabama. They're still going to play against LSU. And so, and I'm thinking like people, they're like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, I used to go to Vanderbilt to get that visual. You know what I'm saying? Kids know that they're not going to make that much money when they go to the NFL, depending on how they play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's kids.
It's a short career.
Caleb Williams literally just said, listen, I could come back my senior year and make more money at the USC more than I'm going to make my rookie year.
My rookie year. Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And the average price.
I want to say he's the highest. I think him and Bronny James, the highest two paid, you know, college players right now.
Easily. Oh, Arch Manning.
Yep.
Archie Manning.
Yeah.
You know,
he don't even need the money, but yeah, for him it makes all the sense to stay in college as long as possible.
As long as possible, and it's just like, and you know, he a backup too, so he's still making all that money over there. So, and then Texas just lost their second backup. He said he wanted to leave, but we'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? Another day. But these teams are making that money now. Vanderbilt is like, all right, bro, we're at the bottom of the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Kids not trying to come here no more just to play, because now prime time is over there at Colorado, and I know I'm finna get a bag over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you already had the number one offensive tackle already said he going there this year, coming out of high school, talking about he gonna protect Shedeur. So he already so like I said, this year, and everybody watched, you know, how they was able, like I said, they accomplished a goal, win more than one game.
Yeah.
Deion never said he was going to win the Pac-12, go to the playoffs. His goal was to win more than one game, and they did that. But then the all of the hype and the media coverage, that's what's going to attract players to transfer there and help him actually have a winning season, you know, and have an opportunity to play in the playoffs next year.
So I do want to ask you one question, because I know we've been on this NCAA football for a minute.
Okay.
Colorado Big 12. Is it playoff or bust for Deion?
No, I don't think it's playoff or bust.
Think about the teams that's in the Big 12
now. I'm thinking about teams, but the reason why I say it's not playoff or bust is because, like I say, we all know in Jackson State it took them more than just 1 year to really build that program up, for people to really respect that level of college football. Even though we all know, hey man, you play football, I've played basketball. We all know it don't matter what level of college you're playing. Hey man, you're out there playing with the best in the country, no matter what level it is. So for him to build Jackson State, it took him a little bit of time. Now coming to Big 12, I know the consensus would be he should be the favorite to win the Big 12 because ain't much over there. But like I say, he still got to build it up and get it to where it's more of a consistent thing of, hey, this is what every year we're doing this. Now we're pumping in the guys that's going to help us continue moving forward. So I don't think it's playoff or bust. I think this year coming into that Big 12, Should we be looking at him to win the Big 12? Absolutely. But I don't think we should be looking at him to really make the playoffs, if that makes sense.
But if he wins the Big 12, he's in the playoffs.
I don't know. It depends, man, because like we just talked about with the SEC, all those big names in there. But with the 12-team playoff bracket now, yes, I'll change my answer. I do agree with you with the 12 teams now. Yes, he should be part of that top 12. I agree with that. He should definitely be in that top 12. And if he's not, yeah, it will be looked at as a bad year. But I don't think it's like, playoff or bust. But I can see the media going to kill him if he don't make the playoffs. Absolutely,
for sure.
So. All right, man. So let's transition real quick before we get out of college football into the playoffs. We know the 4 teams. So real quick, let the people know who do you see winning the first game, and who do you see winning the actual championship?
Alabama's going to beat Michigan.
Yep.
Michigan was scared. Michigan was scared.
What do you think about the score? What kind of score are we looking at? You think it's a dominating win, or do you think it's a close win?
I think Alabama by 20.
By 20. Wow.
By 20.
I had it like a 6 point, anywhere from 6 to 10 points. I got Alabama winning, somewhere around there. I think Michigan, they're gonna come out. Of course, they're gonna try to run the ball because that's what they're known for. But then they still had the ability to throw the ball. But I think Alabama, in the second half, I just don't think Michigan can handle the quarterback that Alabama has and the way he's been playing and the momentum he been rolling with.
No,
they've never seen that type of running quarterback and throwing quarterback. They've never seen that dual option quarterback like that, especially this season. You say what?
He was mad he got benched. You benched me?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a reason why you ever benched me in the first place.
Exactly. So that's why I say I think Michigan gives them a tough fight, but I see it anywhere from 6 to 10 points. Alabama. What about the 6th game with Texas?
Texas and Washington.
Yep.
I'm taking Texas.
Okay.
I'm taking Texas probably by like 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Texas. That's the same thing for me. I think Washington offense is phenomenal, but their defense is not that good, and I think Texas runs away with it, and wins it, like I say, by 3 points to a touchdown is what I think Texas win. Now in the championship game, so that means Alabama versus Texas.
Rematch.
Do you think Texas take care of business again like they did the first time they play Alabama, or do you think Alabama turns around and revenges that loss in the championship?
I think Alabama revenges the loss, and I hate to say it, but I think Roll Tide is gonna roll. All right, so but
nah, bro, I ain't gonna never say Roll Tide. I got to go with Texas, man. I think Texas. I think they got the blueprint on how to play Alabama, and we saw that firsthand. Even though it was early in the season. We saw that firsthand. I haven't seen any drop off in Texas to believe that they can't get the job done again in the second time they play them. Now it might not be the same score, but I still think they're going to come out with that win and win it all.
But see, and here's why I say Alabama, because Alabama was playing horrible in the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about barely beating UCF. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, and the way they've been playing the last half of the season. It's like they're 2 completely different teams. So, and Texas beat them by a field goal. Let me look up
something like that. Yep, my first time.
It wasn't by much. So I think that's why I'm thinking. I think Alabama turns it around. I think Alabama wins by a touchdown. And the only real reason I believe Alabama beats Michigan is because
they won 34-24. So they beat them by 10 the first game.
They beat them by 10. Okay.
Alabama scored. Texas scored 21 in the fourth quarter. And Alabama scored 8. So really the bulk of Texas scores or points came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, see, that's why see. So, and I just want to throw this out there right quick.
Okay.
Alabama doesn't get past Michigan if Michigan doesn't come out and play scared. Did you see the faces? Did you see the face on Michigan players and coaches when they said they had to face Alabama?
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastation. It was devastation, bro. They did not want to play Alabama.
They already lost. So unless they change that mindset,
it was the only team. Actually, they had the defeat of what Florida State had.
Yeah,
they had the same defeat of what Florida State had when they announced who Alabama. I mean, who got in and who they was gonna have to play. So they definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. If if they're still walking around with that same sentiment, yeah, they're going to get blown out by 50 going into that game. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've never seen nothing like that, bro, where you literally had a team look defeated because they got announced that they got to play Alabama.
Yeah.
So that whole part crazy. But did they get Florida State right? Go on, let AJ know, man. Did they get Florida State right?
This podcast is based out of Pensacola, Florida, where there's a lot of Florida State fans.
I'm okay with it.
I'm going to sit here and say this. Did they get it right? They did. And here is why.
Okay.
Right? Florida State does not look like the same team as they were with Jordan Travis. Their defense is phenomenal. Completely phenomenal. Or whatnot. Yeah. But Rodemaker, that guy looked horrible against Florida.
Yep.
People are going to say, well, Florida's not that bad. Florida is not a good team either, okay? So we're going to sit here and say that. He looked horrible against Florida. The third string looked absolutely horrendous against Louisville. So
Louisville was probably the worst game I watched for college football this year, all season long. And that was the championship game. They literally didn't score. They didn't get a first down until the third quarter. Yeah. And you had 3 quarters go by with really no scoring, no nothing from both sides. I mean, it was a terrible game for both sides. It wasn't just Florida State. But keep going.
And my thing is like if you match up Florida State's defense to those 4 teams, you put those 4 teams in the same position that Louisville was in, because they was in Florida State's yardage the entire game. They was on their side of the field the entire game. They just couldn't put the ball in the end zone or whatnot.
Yep.
You put Washington in there, they're scoring. You put Alabama in there, they're scoring. Texas, they're scoring. You know what I'm saying? It may not be a big game. Will Florida State make the game ugly? Of course. They'll make it real ugly where it'll be like 17-3, right? Texas or whatever team is not scoring much. But they're scoring. They're putting Jordan Travis changes all of that because at this time now, we're scoring too. We're stopping you from scoring and you get to score, but you can't score with neither of those.
And he's a dual threat, so it's harder to guard him too.
So unfortunately, would I have loved to see Florida State in it? Yes, but to say they got it right because even in the verbiage, even in the black and white, it says if there's a person that could change the team completely, you know what I'm saying? We have to take that in consideration, and they did what they did.
Absolutely.
But do I think that? I do believe Georgia should have been in instead of Alabama, but
No, yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't agree with a team that defending champions, been dominating all season. They losing the championship game against a team that's already got 1 loss. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you could take Georgia out of that Final Four. You can't tell me that Georgia's not the top 4 best teams in college football when they showed it all season long. So I'm with you. I agree about Florida State not getting in, but I disagree with Alabama over Georgia. I disagree with that 100%. But we'll have to wait and see, man. I think still the playoffs are going to be exciting, and this is what's going to make even more important next season when they go to 12 teams, because now you'll have all these 2-loss teams, the Oregons, the teams that lose in the championship. Now they still have a chance to compete. They just be a lower seed in the playoffs, but I'm excited to see what the 12 teams going to look like next year. So, all right, man. So let's transition to.
I was about to say, do you think the championships will be like pointless to play in if that's the case? That's just one little quick question.
I don't think so, because I think the championships will be your seeding. You know what I'm saying? You win your championship, you're the higher seed. But if you lose, now you gotta kind of battle it out more. It might even be some home field advantages with that. I don't know. They have, we don't know yet until we get into next year to see what kind of advantage is going to be to win your conference. But I still think winning your conference is the first goal. Win the conference, and then let's see what happens. Because as you can see, not winning your conference puts you out with this 4 teams. So with 12 teams, it might put you in a position where you're going to have to go through a real gauntlet to get, versus, okay, if I win my conference, I might only have to play 2 games and I'm in the championship. But then if I don't win my conference and I'm a lower seed and I lost 2 games, now I might have to win 4 games to get to the championship. So it's a little tougher that way. So I think winning the conference still will be an important piece of the season. Let's transition to the NFL, man. let's talk about the NFC for a second. So
let's talk about it.
You know, I've been, you know, you my boy, AJ my boy, but man, what's going on with these Cowboys? What's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles? Are they just going to give the NFC to the 49ers? Or is that what the plan is? Because it looks like to me that no one in the NFC. Now, I give all the kudos and the applause to the Detroit Lions. What they're doing this year, man, I'm impressed. You know, Dan Campbell has done an amazing job with his coaching over there, with his staff, with the players they brought in, with the drafting they've been doing over there. I'm impressed with what the Detroit Lions are doing. Mm-hmm. What the hell's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys?
All right, so I'm answering your first question. Are we just going to concede to the 49ers? Well, yeah. First and foremost, there's nothing we could do about it. The 49ers, they have to lose 2 games. They have to lose 2 games for them to give for them to even give up the number 1 seed, because of the fact of, like, you know what I'm saying? They both have, the 49ers have the game against both of us where they dominated, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have just a better record now. So they have to lose 2 games. Now can they lose to the Ravens? They can. Mm-hmm. And the other team I think that they could lose to possibly is the Rams, just because the Rams are playing better now, and they're a divisional team for them. So I do believe that the Rams could surprise them. But if
they play them, I think they might play them last game of the season.
Yeah, so if they beat the Ravens and then they beat the cupcake team in between teams, then you know what I'm saying. Of course, the Rams probably gonna win because they're gonna sit everybody. You know what I'm saying. Now I got 2 bye weeks. You know what I'm saying. So. But when it comes down to the Eagles and the Cowboys, me being a huge Cowboys fan,
yeah, man.
Me being a huge Cowboys fan, I can say that I'm one of those Cowboy fans who are more realistic than others. So I was, but the Cowboys have big, I'll say, big game syndrome, right? So you have the chance to go into Buffalo.
Yep.
And assert your dominance, because you are the better team. Even after they win, the Cowboys are still the better team than Buffalo. I'm going to say that.
Nah, I don't know about that, man.
I have to say that because
with the play on field right now this season, I would agree with you that they've been showing that they're the better team. But if I had to say on paper, looking at both teams, I would pick Buffalo over y'all every single time, just because Josh Allen for sure. I'm picking him over Dak.
Okay.
Without any stats, I'm picking him over Dak.
Yeah.
Defensively wise, I think they have a better, all around defense, because y'all run game is terrible. Y'all can't stop the run.
Is horrible. Yes, 1,000%. But I would still say our defense is better.
Okay.
I would still say our defense is better. And then I would say our offense. I would say our offense is better, because outside of. Because I mean, yes, James Cook is not cooking everybody like that. I don't know. Bro had his Wheaties last Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, it's the Cowboys. I'm finna get up. But that's what teams do though. When they play the Cowboys, the Cowboys are gonna get everybody's best. I don't care who they're playing, because it's the Cowboys. Like every Cowboy game is under the big lights, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they like Josh Allen himself. He said he felt like, you know what I'm saying, he got an A for a group project and he didn't contribute in. So like that's what I'm thinking, like their offense is better. I mean, our offense is better because we have our receiver core is better, right? Because I mean, we'll give them, they have the better number 1 receiver and Stephon. I mean, I don't agree with that, but most people will. But their number 2, Gabe Davis, is not better than Brandon Cooks or whatnot. And depending on how you look at it, their tight end game, Jake Ferguson versus Dalton Kincaid, depending on how you look at it, they're probably the same.
I think that's a wash. That's a wash right there.
Yeah. So, and then their running backs on a normal basis, I'll say about the same. Tony Pollard and James on a normal basis, right? So our offensive line is better for sure when healthy. So that's why I give our offense. That's why I say we're the better team. Maybe their coaching is bad. They just had a coaching change. So, But when we get under the big lights, outside of a very few, outside of one big game, which was the Philadelphia
Mm-hmm.
Eagles at home, when we get under the big
Mm-hmm.
lights, we poop it. We poop it up.
Yeah.
You tell
Y'all
me
3-4. Y'all 3-4 this year against
on the
I
road.
guess you can call Super Bowl contenders. Y'all are 3-4 on the road against those teams, but at home y'all play different. That's why I believe getting home field advantage for y'all is going to be key, because if not, like I told you the other night, it's going to be one and done for y'all. And so the fall is coming. It's just, when does it come? Because like I say, with the inconsistencies of playing on the road and playing at home, it's very difficult for a team, not only just Cowboys, but any team, like we see over in Kansas City. You see how, I'm seeing a side of Pat Mahomes that I've never seen before, with just his demeanor and how he's upset all the time. But I get it, because like I say, they're not playing well, especially offensively. Defensively, they playing lights out defensively. But offensively,
it's still receivers.
Yeah. Just not catching the ball, not and it's in this. And the thing about it is, if you look at the team though, with Kansas City, they got the same team. I mean, James Toney, he's new, but other than that, they got the same team that they had last year. They won a Super Bowl with. So, but they're just not putting up, the numbers and not doing what they need to do in order for them to be successful on the field. So but like you said, when pieces aren't playing the way they need to play, then it's going to be difficult, especially when you've shown all season the struggles that you're having on the road. So, but
it is going to be tough for us. We have a tough game coming up against Miami. You know what I'm saying? I think the Cowboys are also 9-1 after losing the game, so I think we're going to go in Miami and take care of business, if I was to think so. But that's another good team. But on those, for example, the reason why I say we went in there in Buffalo, and the reason why we should have beat Buffalo, and Buffalo's not better than us, but Buffalo had more motivation than us. They had a reason they needed to win that game. You know what I'm saying? We didn't.
Yeah, because playoffs on the line. Playoffs on the line.
For them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We just clinched. So, you know what I'm saying? We just clinched right before the game. So we're just like, all right, we good to go. I pray that it doesn't come out, that there's not a report that comes out that the coach McCarthy told them that they clinched right before the game, because that's going
to change the mindset of a lot of players to not go out there and give it all you got, because we're already in. It's about staying healthy now. It's not about going out there trying, but at the same time, you might have clinched, but you ain't got home field advantage. So you need to get home field advantage. So that way you ain't got to do all the traveling. That way you ain't got to have no weather, interruptions. You ain't got to have interference from the weather. You ain't got to have to worry about anything, because now you in your backyard just hanging out, and now everybody got to come through you to go to the Super Bowl.
So the Cowboys need the number 2 seed.
100%. 100%. If y'all don't get the number 1 seed, it's gonna be.
Number 1 is over with. Number 1 is over with unless God says, hey, we want the Cowboys number 1. Outside of that, 49ers got that. So the 49ers are the best team in football. I hate to say it, but there's no team. I would say
49ers, and I got the Baltimore Ravens as the second best team in NFL right now, because the way Lamar Jackson's playing, what their defense is doing, they running the ball. I know they just lost their running back. He tore his ACL against Jacksonville, but even still with that, I still think Baltimore is playing the second best football in the NFL right now. You still got KC in the AFC, Miami in the AFC. Miami's been up and down, same thing, kind of like y'all. You don't know. At home, Miami is a whole different team than when they are on the road. So, the inconsistencies with them.
They never beat
the AFC. Exactly. So I just believe that right now those are 2 best teams. We're gonna really see who's the best team this when they play each other coming up. So that's gonna make it exciting.
And with the
exciting
Eagles,
to see.
And with the Eagles, man, I hate to say it, because I'm like, after Cowboys, I'm NFC East fan. After the Eagles, the Eagles just like, they haven't played good all year. Like if we go and look,
they've been playing suspect all year. All year long.
You know what I'm saying? But they've been like, I've been hearing a lot of people say they hide it under the wins. You know what I'm saying? They got to win against Buffalo. They got to win against Kansas City. They got to win against Miami. You know what I'm saying? So they beat big teams, but honestly, they haven't been playing good, and it's catching up to them now. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts coming out saying that the team is not committed. Like you don't say that in week 16. You know what I'm saying? You saying that in week 3.
Yeah.
Like the team is not
Yeah.
committed. We need to get it
Yeah.
together, right? You
Yeah.
saying that in week 16, bro. You have 3 more. You have 3 games left. You know, and
Yeah.
you have 2 tough games. I mean, yeah, they're the Giants, but this division. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the division play each other hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you
Oh,
mess
of course,
around.
because it means more, because those wins mean a whole lot more than non-divisional games every
Yeah.
time. Just like being a part of college basketball and working with the university here, and then me being in high school basketball too. Those conference games mean a whole lot more than if we go play somebody from whatever conference. We want to win, but those wins don't mean as much as a conference win or a divisional win.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I agree with you. I understand. You're trying to motivate the guys and galvanize the guys by saying, hey, man, we need to take it more serious. But like I say, you're coming out and saying that guys aren't committed. That's a little far out of reach of a comment, just because them guys, especially defensively, I can't speak to their cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks are terrible. But that front line, the linebackers, they're playing lights out. So they're giving everything they got, trying to keep the game close for the offense to give them something. Mm-hmm. But I believe also too, Jalen Hurts is hurt. I think he had to run around with one leg, and he can't really get out the pocket like he needs to. He can't really step into his passes like he needs to. So a lot of those deep balls he normally get away with, they're coming up short because he's not able to really, step into it with his left foot and throw the ball like he needs to. Because those last couple interceptions, the last game they played was simply because of that, because he's not really able to step into the throw. So I think playing hurt is hurting the team, and then offensively they're not on the same page on what they're trying to do at all.
And I believe that the receivers have to do better. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know this about your quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta get open.
You got to get open. And you know what I'm saying? The offensive play call, you got to scheme them open. Like something has to give. If not, they're going to be honest, they're going to lose these last 3 games. I don't care who they're playing. You say they're playing cupcakes. Well, Seattle wasn't a good team.
No, it wasn't.
And they had Drew Lock.
Yeah, and they had Drew Lock. Yep.
So,
like, and that was not on top of that. Now on top of that, they had Drew Lock, but they had Drew Lock had to go 92 yards for the win. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like don't sleep on these last 3 teams. Y'all need to get it together, because if y'all don't get it together, y'all gonna go 0-3 in these last. Y'all gonna go 0-6 to end the season.
Yeah. So and that's why I like so much about San Francisco is that their scheme for Brock is like, hey man, we're not trying to get him to win the game. We're just trying to keep him to manage the game. But even now they realize, hey man, he actually can win games for us.
Yeah,
and they let him. They opening the playbook and they giving him more things to work with. And don't get me wrong, yes, he got some of the best talent in the NFL, but still, man, he got to throw the ball. He got to get out the pocket. He got to read the defenses. So it ain't like it's just set up for him to be great every play. He's making it happen. So that's why I know, like you just said,
Kyle Shanahan is an offensive mastermind. And there was a play that Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey made last week. Brock Purdy rolled out to the left, threw it to a wide open. Christian McCaffrey was so wide open. He caught the ball,
fell down,
got back up and ran and scored a touchdown. So I'm like, bro, like how wide open do you have to be? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like Brock Purdy is in a great position, bro. You put I don't want to say any quarterback there, but you put majority quarterbacks in that position. Any of the quarterbacks that we think they're in the MVP race.
They had the same outcome. I can agree with that. Because right now he's the MVP for me right now out of all the quarterbacks. I mean, Lamar Jackson's right behind him, but I think right now with just the sheer dominance and the play on the field, I think Brock is the favorite right now in my opinion for MVP.
But here's the reason why I don't. And I would give it to Lamar over Dak right now. Actually, I give it to Tyreek Hill over everybody. The reason why Brock Purdy is not not the MVP, my choice, is because of the fact of like you lose. You know what I'm saying? You lose 3 games without Debo and Trent Williams, right? You put Josh Allen in those positions. He don't lose those 3 because you lose the 3 cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? You lose to, well, maybe not Cleveland. Cleveland has the number 1 defense. So
the Browns and the cupcake. Browns, they got number 1 defense for a reason. They stout. Their defense is stout.
You lose to the Vikings. You lose to the Vikings, and then they lost to it was another cupcake team they shouldn't have lost to. or whatnot with Brock Purdy in there. You don't lose those games with Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes, with Jalen Hurts, with Dak Prescott. You don't lose with Lamar because we understand Debo is gone, but you still have 3 other weapons. You still have Christian McCaffrey, you still got George Kittle, and you still got Brandon Ayuk, which y'all want to say he's a top 10 receiver, still not top 10.
He is a top 10 receiver. We don't have to debate that, but continue.
Yeah, but I'm saying in those instances, like those, I'll give them 1 loss. If they lose to the Browns. You know what I'm saying? With those other quarterbacks there. So that's why he's not my MVP. That's why I'm saying I'll give it to Tyreek Hill. I had Dak until he put up a stinker last week. He's gonna have to come out. And the defense is gonna have to completely stop Tyreek, and he's gonna have to put up 50 against Miami. Like he's gonna have to. So there's nothing else that people could say, oh, well, you can't beat a good team on the road.
Yeah.
Well, we just put up 50.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
Out of that.
But I agree with you. The top 3 right now, I would say Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, and then Brock Purdy would be the top 3 MVP. You know, right now I think they got a strong hold on that conversation for right now, especially going into these last few games. I think they got a strong hold now. Granted, like you say, this game against Baltimore and San Francisco, I think that's going to really these next 2 games. You got Miami versus Dallas, and then you got San Francisco versus Baltimore. I think that's going to really solidify who's the MVP after those 2 games. Because like you say, if Dak come out and he dominate Miami, he going to be the favorite. If Tyreek come out and he dominate Dallas, he go for 200 plus yards receiving, got a couple touchdowns, running all over the field on people. And if you got Brock, he dominate Baltimore, or Lamar Jackson dominate one of the best defenses in the league. I think that those 2 games going to be the best 2 games of the weekend. And I think that's going to really determine, like, at that point, who's going to be the MVP for sure.
I feel like this. I'm just going to say this, and I hate to say it, but it's just going to be true. If Brock Purdy comes out those 3 tutties and the Niners put up 40 against Baltimore,
it's over with. It's over with.
He won. And he got it. You know what I'm saying? Shine, sealed, and delivered. We're going to go ahead and so.
Yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing else anybody can do at that point because, like I said, the next couple games ain't going to be enough to overthrow him as MVP. I agree with that. Even if he don't play the next couple games, I agree with that. All right, man. So let's transition to the NBA, man. Then we're going to get ready to get up out of here. So I know you saw it. The world has seen it. Draymond Green suspended indefinitely for once again getting into altercation on the court, hitting somebody. I know he came out and said that it wasn't intentional, but we know history plays a role in the suspension. Do you think the NBA got it right, or do you think they did it wrong?
1,000% got it right.
Okay.
1,000% got it right. I mean, come on, bro. There's nothing in the NBA, there's nothing that Nurkic did for you to turn around and hit that man clean like that. Like, come on, man. You know what you was doing, bro. You know what you was doing.
Yeah.
So, they got it right. Indefinitely, but here's the thing. A lot of people take the word indefinitely means like, oh, he can't never come back. You know what I'm saying? Indefinitely means
no. It just means that it's not a set in stone time for him to return, but he will return eventually. I think, just like you, I agree. I think they got it right for 1,000%, just because it's time to shut it down, man. It's time to shut it down. It's too many instances now where you're getting into stuff, stepping on people's chests, hitting people in the groin. Now you backhanding somebody because they grabbing on your jersey. And then he even came out and said, I was trying to draw a foul. So like you're trying to, manipulate calls at the same time you're actually making physical contact with players, and that's just not okay no more. So I think the reason why they did the indefinite, because they want to try to get them help. Because there's something going on, man. There's something going on, because we've seen players like Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. We've seen these type of characters in the NBA over the history of the league. But even then, like, all Dennis Rodman stuff was just off the court. Like, he was just doing stuff, wearing dresses and going out and partying and just being in the media for stuff off the floor. But when he was on the court, it was all about production. It was all about helping his team win. And don't get me wrong, Draymond Green has definitely meant a lot to the Golden State Warriors. That's why they have the championships. That's why they are the franchise that they are, because he's been a part of that with the Splash Brothers. But enough is enough, man. It's time to shut it down and really, really help him out with understanding, hey man, you just can't play that way. You just can't play that way.
Yeah, and and then you come back from something that just like, bro, like you just got suspended. It's not like it was you got suspended last year. No, you just got suspended for choking somebody. You know what I'm talking about? And then your reason behind it of like you said, oh, if I really meant to do it, I wouldn't apologize for doing it. Bro, like come on, man. Like that's not an attitude to have. And then that comes back from the year after you done punch your own teammate in the face. So it's like, so it's like, bro, what can we do to help this man out for him to understand like that he's not playing football in the basketball arena? Like that's not what we're here to do. You know what I'm saying? We're here to protect our players, and he has to want to be right first and foremost. He has to understand
first and foremost
wrongdoings. If he doesn't understand his wrongdoings, then we're just gonna get right back out here, and something else is gonna happen again, and he's gonna try to blame it on something else that he did. Like when he stepped on Buddy's chest, he's like, "Oh, he grabbed me." Like, come on, bro, you could step over him. You literally stepped on his man's chest.
Or if he's grabbing you, just let him grab you and let the referee see and let the referee do his job and call the foul. But you talking about, like I tell people, man, you know, I'd have been on the NBA floor with these NBA guys, not playing, but just been on the floor with them, man. We're talking about Draymond Green, 6'8", 260 pounds. That little pull, man, ain't pulling your leg out your body to the point where you feel like you got to step on somebody. That little snug on you, you know, Nurkic pulling on your jersey. He's not stopping your ability to move and get the ball. Like all the reasons behind the reaction is not justified to me. Exactly. Because like I said, I'd have been part of games. Me and you and played basketball. We played against other people. And I get grabbed and pushed all the time, but it's never to a point like, well, let me throw an elbow to his face because now he's grabbing on my shirt. Or because he fouled me, now I got to come down here and I get a chance to foul him. I'm gonna do something that can hurt him. So it's just like you say, he got to want to understand that you can't play ball like that, especially if you're trying to be a role model or a leader or whatever it is in the NBA or be a face that's being marketed in the NBA. You can't have that attached to your name. Similar to like we were talking about off camera about Ja. You know, Ja's returning to the NBA. He's been caught twice, you know, on camera, flashing guns and doing all this other stuff. I hope that, you know, in this time frame of being away from the game and having a chance to really remold his surrounding around, you know, when it comes to his family and friends, that he understands now that, hey man, I can't do these certain things and still be a part of this sport and still be, you know, a big name in this sport.
A lot of people, I mean, and I feel like when people get drafted to the NBA, they don't understand that they're the top 1%. 1% of the world, right? So you're noticeable. I don't care where you go. They know who Ja Morant is. They're gonna know who Draymond. Oh, I look at you. Yes, I know who you are. So of course you're on a pedestal above the other human beings. No matter how much you try to say that, oh, I just want to be a regular human being. I just want to be a normal. You're not. I don't care what you want to be. You're not. The only way you can be is if you stop playing basketball right now. You're not going to do that. So, like, you have to understand. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to hold yourself on a higher pedestal. You have to understand that you're above. And I hate to say it this way, but you're above the normal person because you have these things that you just have to abide by because of how you are in society. So once I feel like and the NBA has to do a good job of telling people this stuff. So you're getting younger and younger when we get into the league, you know.
You got 18, 19-year-old kids coming here making millions of dollars. Yeah,
don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if you saw the footage, but you know what I'm saying, they were talking to Ja Morant. They asked him, hey, are your diamonds real or whatnot? And he was like, yeah, I'm a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like that mindset, why not just say yes? Why not? Like,
You know
what I'm saying?
Or just don't even wear them to making a conversation at all for people to be trying to get into your business of your financial earnings. You know, it's but like you said, that comes with maturity. That comes with, you know, some other, because one thing about the NBA, like you just said, I've noticed it's so young now. Back in the day, a lot of these guys were coming in the league and you had a lot of veterans, a lot of guys that was, you know, showing the guys the way to do it. So you didn't have all this scrutiny. You didn't have all these issues coming your way when you're trying to make your way in the NBA the first couple of years. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's hurting the league is that there's just teams that don't have enough veteran players on the teams that can help, mold these guys into being professional athletes and professional players and just professionals in general. I mean, you look at the Detroit Pistons, 23-game losing streak, and they're all, the oldest player on the team might be 24.
Yeah.
So when you don't have that veteran leadership on the team, it makes it very difficult for these guys to even care about things the right way and actually go about things the right way.
Well, and I also don't think real quick. I also don't think that the veterans are being the veterans that they need to be. Back in the day, when these young people came in, they respected their veterans. They don't respect the veterans now. I'm better than you. I make more money than you as a rookie.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So why should I listen?
Yep.
Why should I listen to you? Back then, the veterans made sure that you listened to them. So there was
an initiation that happened for the young guys. And now I don't even think I think now the older guys just like, man, I ain't even trying to fool these guys. I'm about to get out the league anyway. So I'll just let them kind of run wild like they want to. So I think I agree with you on that. It just they're not stepping up and demanding the respect and also leading by example too.
Miami Heat was a young team. They had Udonis Haslem until last year, and he was a veteran.
Yep.
And you could look at that team. You could look at that team and be like, all right, this team is led right. So
yeah, absolutely. So all right, let's talk about the Cup champions, the Lakers, man. Do you validate the mid-season tournament? Do you validate that as a big deal, or what do you think about the Cup?
LeBron said it best, man. It's $500,000 a person. So of course it's a big deal to them. It was a big deal to us as well. If you look at the numbers compared to last year, the ratings of people watching the NBA during this in-season tournament were up almost 75%. So it was definitely a win for Adam Silver. He got it right. Of course, they're looking for ways to make it better. They're coming out with an idea that I don't think is right, is retarded. But,
no, I don't. Me and you talked about this off the camera. I don't agree with that. If you win the Cup, then you get an automatic bid into the playoffs. I don't agree with that. I think you still got to put the work in because, like you were telling me, if you do that, that incentivizes teams to not play players.
Exactly.
Because we're already in. We don't need to worry about the rest of the season. Now it's just about being healthy, and like it was before the mid-season tournament. It was all about being healthy and not trying to get guys hurt. So I agree. I 1,000% disagree with that. But I agree with you on the tournament. I've enjoyed watching it just because of it made the games more important and it gave you that playoff feel too as well.
And it really did. Maybe they find a way to make the group games better.
Match them up better. Yeah.
Match them up better and make them longer. You played 4 games. You played 4 games in the Cup, and in the group play. And if you lose 1 or 2, if you lose 1 or 2, then the rest of the team's not taking it. Oh, I have no chance now, so they're not taking it serious.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I think you find a way to make it even more competitive. And
you
just make it longer because now we're in that. All you did was make it competitive for a month. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're back at that window. Right before February, where we have all these NBA games, but you know what I'm saying, these players don't care until after All-Star. So
after All-Star game. Yep. So I agree with you. Yep. Make it extend the play, the play games and all that, and the pool play and everything. Give people, if they do 2 losses, still give them a chance to play in that championship game. Cause like I say, $500,000, especially for somebody who's a rookie, not making that type of money, to get that in one lump sum, and then like I said, be playing on a bigger stage. I agree. I think they need to revamp it just a little bit, but definitely keep it moving forward because I've enjoyed it watching it. I didn't like the courts. I think the colors of the courts was a little too much, but I like the uniforms. And then, of course, I like just the overall feel of what you were seeing, just the presentation on TV. And I'm sure at the games was amazing too as well. So I agree with you. I think they need to keep that same idea for next year, but just change the format up just a little bit different to make it a little bit better.
How do you feel about the Lakers dropping raising the banner to it?
I disagree with that. Disagree with that. Just like I disagree with the bubble championship, I disagree with the cup championship being raised in the banner. It's not a real championship. We only won one championship. It's not a real championship. It's not a real championship. Let's be very clear. Everybody watching and everybody listening. It's not a real championship. I don't want to hear that, man. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm not going for it. And LeBron, look, one of the best to ever do it. I will be the first to say that. One of the best to ever do it. Not my GOAT, but I'll be the first to say it. Best to ever do it. One of the best to ever do it. But that is not that don't need to go on his resume. Mid-season cup champion. Nah, we need to come up with a different name. I don't like cup championship. That we need to come up with a different name, Adam. Come on, let's do some brainstorming. Let's come up with a different name for. I mean, all these NBA legends we got. We can come up with a different. You already changed all of the individual awards, so you can change this mid-season championship. Let's call it something else. But no, I don't agree with raising no banners, no parade. We don't need none of that. That's too much.
What they said, right? So you know what they said, right? They said some announcers I was hearing. They said, "Oh, they should name the in-season tournament MVP trophy the LeBron James Trophy." I said, "All right, bro, y'all go ahead, man.
See, do what y'all." Yeah, man. See,
what are we doing here? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. But overall, I would give the mid-season tournament passing grade. Like I say, it made this season more exciting. For the month and a half, it was a part of the season, and it makes the future even more bright. Knowing that that's still going to be a part of it. And then staying with basketball, man, I want to shed some light on Bronny James coming back on the court, having a chance to play again. That was because I've come out and say on this podcast on previous episodes, I don't know if he should play this year. I don't know if he should just take this year to really focus on his health. But after watching him, he looks like he's going to be okay. I mean, he looked like he's going to be able to, to be able to stay on the court and, to contribute a little bit that he's able to do this year. And then next year, maybe he come back next year. I don't know if he has enough that he can put on the floor this year to say, okay, now go to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs one more season. We all know his dad going to be playing, said he's going to keep playing because he wants to play with Bronny. So I don't think him, waiting till one more year to come out. I don't think that's a bad idea. But he looked good, playing. So I was happy to see him back on the floor.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to see him, especially after something like that. That's what I'm saying. That's big. Like you know what I'm saying. That ends people's careers. You know what I'm saying. So to see him come back out, to see him come back, and then I think what I'm saying, they got him on a minute restriction.
Of course.
He's been playing averagely like 15, 16 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? He's maybe getting his feet back under him, trying to understand how college intensity compared to high school.
It's a different level. It's a different level than the high school and AAU. Yep.
So, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. Do I honestly think that he's going to stay another year? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because I also think just LeBron James, his name, and him saying that, hey, I'll take a discount wherever I go to play with my son.
Yeah.
I think that's going to
somebody gonna try to take advantage of the opportunity to have him on the team with them, for at least a year to try to come up off of that. Absolutely.
When you have LeBron James on the team, I don't care how old he is, you're a contender now. So because his leadership, and he's bringing somebody with him. He always got that Louis Vuitton luggage coming with LeBron everywhere he goes.
Somebody, I don't care if, let's say he was to go to Detroit Pistons because they get the first draft pick or they have a chance. Somebody will come to Detroit to play with LeBron. That's 100% true. They'll be able to build a future around him for, if that's just 1 or 2 years, they'll be able to build a future around him. And then of course, his son is there, so that'll be even more reason for them to have him come be there for 2 years because his son's coming. So, all right, man. Last thing before we get out of here, man. $700 million to Shohei with the Dodgers. What do you think about that contract? Well deserved, or you think they kind of stepped on their wee-wees with that contract?
They stepped on their wee-wees with that one. I ain't gonna lie to you. And the reason why, here's the reason why. Why. Does he deserve that money?
Yeah.
1,000%. But he's also going through an injury where he's not gonna be pitching next year. So like he's just hitting. So now you're, what I'm saying, you pay $700 million to a person who's getting you strikeouts and home runs. You know what I'm saying? Like if we ever had a two-way player in the MLB, that's him. I'm gonna strike you out. I'm gonna strike you out, and we gonna knock it out the park. and even in days I'm not pitching, I'm probably still knocking
Mm-hmm.
it out the park. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that's who you pay $700 million for. It was 10 years, so $70 million.
Yeah.
But I heard there's some stuff going on with this contract anyway.
Well, I know a lot of teams are coming. Of course, your smaller market teams, they're complaining about the whole contract. The big market teams, they're like, man, hey man, you follow the rules, and nothing in the rules states that you can't do what you're doing. Now, the one thing I would disagree with you on is that yes, they paid $700 million over a lump sum of time for a dual threat player who can pitch, who can hit, and yes, he's coming off an injury where he's only going to be hitting. But what the contract they've done with it is he's getting paid small increments. He's not getting $70 million every year. So the way they breaking his contract down is that it allows him to still go out and get pitching. It allows him to still go out and get some young talent coming up to still be able to compete, at that level for a World Series. And then of course the following season when he comes back, now he will be able to do it on both, the mound and at the plate. But this year, it just, like I said, the focus on letting his arm heal properly. They just want him just hitting. But yeah, the contract itself, each year, he's only getting paid a small portion of his contract, so that way they can still be relevant in other areas on the team. So I think it kind of same what they did for Pat Mahomes when he signed that $400-some million contract. It's just like, hey, we're gonna pay you small increments in the first 5-6 years of this contract, and then on the latter part of the actual contract, now we start paying you that $70-80 million. So to finish up your contract. But I think it was I was shocked to see the Dodgers stepped out there and did that, because I was expecting the Angels to keep him or him going to somewhere else. But for the Dodgers to come in and swoop him up, that's big for them. I mean, now. And I think another reason why they did it is because of Kershaw. Because Kershaw, he can't stay healthy, and when he is, and then when he finally do get healthy, it's playoff time, and then he ain't been healthy all season, so they can't get the best out of him. So I think that's what Shohei was about, was trying to get somebody else that can be that ace for him when they need it, in the times of when it's time to win and go to the World Series and win the World Series. So I think that's what that whole pickup was about too for them, was solidifying their ability in the future.
And it's good for
and he's young too, man. So they still got he got a lot of baseball left in him.
It's good for the international too, because now international players can see like, oh, I can go to the MLB and make some real change, So
yeah, absolutely. So, well, man, Tim, once again, bro, I want to thank you for coming on. I've enjoyed having you on, bro. We got to have you on more. And now with you being, I know you in the process of getting ready to move yourself. So, of course, we'll still, like say, stream you in, man, and have these conversations like today. But I want to thank you. So right before you leave, man, let everybody know once again where they can find you at and follow you at.
Yeah, so you can follow my personal page at Official Timmy D on Instagram, or my sports page, Timmy D Sports. I am also working on my sports broadcasting program at Full Sail. Mm-hmm. So we're going to hopefully see me on Fox, and I could bring DeMarcus. I'm about to call you D-Mark, but I'll bring DeMarcus on.
Come on.
Bring DeMarcus on.
We'll make the trip. We'll make the trip. Yeah. And we ain't now you got flies out first class. Now we ain't gonna be doing no coach or no main cab. You got flies out first class now.
First class is crazy, but I got you.
All right, man. Business class then. God dog, man. Can you do business class?
High top economy is where, you know what I'm saying? I got you. As soon as
hey man, we don't fly JetBlue, man. We don't do that, man. We do Delta, man, around here. So we're gonna fly Delta.
Oh, fly Delta.
I'll do Comfort Plus. I'll let you do Comfort Plus. That'll work for me. Me and John get the leg room and enough room for our luggage, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure they'll be able to get you some free crackers, man.
Okay. That's all good. But yeah, man, I wish you the best on your journey, because I know you're gonna do your thing, because you definitely, when it comes to sports and sports talk and podcasting and just knowing how to talk about the game, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, you do a great job, man. So I look forward to the opportunity, and and you having the opportunity to be a part of a network like that, man, because that's just going to help us with our platform. And I really appreciate the sentiment of having us on there. So, but as always, we want to thank each and every one of y'all for watching. This is the end of season 3. It's crazy. Me and John was talking about this the other day, man. It's crazy that we've done 3 seasons and we're going into season 4. And man, I just want to, applaud all of y'all for continuing to watch, continue to support us, share my content, share the reels, comment down below the debates that we've gotten into on the camera, off the camera, in the street. Me and John get stopped all the time. People talking about the podcast. So I thank each and every one of y'all for all your continued support, and look forward to season 4 in January. We got a lot of, other changes we're going to implement. John he just got the approval. We got our merch coming. So y'all look forward to that. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all stickers, all kind of stuff coming, man. So y'all stay tuned. But as always, make sure before you leave this video, you like, subscribe, follow us, share the content, comment down below. Let us know what you thought about today's episode. And in season 4, like always, we'll definitely do our very, very best to implement all the changes to continue to make this content be the best it can be every time you get a chance to watch it. But until then, man, everybody have a great new year, and we see you in January. Until next episode, peace.